Today's workout, I'm doing dips, pull-ups, some bicep and tricep work, and rotator cuff work. This isn't a tutorial, this is one of my real workouts. So if you want to see how I train to build muscle, strength, flexibility, working towards a handstand push-up and a one-arm pull-up, then this is for you. Oh, and it's in my home gym as well. Every good workout starts with a good warm-up, and today I'm doing a little bit of trigger point release first because I have had a slap tear in both my shoulders, which is something that is always has to be considered in every workout. And I only just started doing dips again this week for the first time in many months. It's probably about 6 months. And dips are very, very tough on a slap tear because they stretch the long head of the bicep so much, and the long head of the bicep connects to the superior portion of the labrum, which is where the slap tear occurs. And I'm just feeling some shoulder pain, restriction in range of motion today. And in my experience, you can really fix that up with a good warm-up. So I could go into this workout with pain and restricted motion, which will potentially get worse because my nervous system will be confirmed that it should be protecting, you know, the shoulder with restricted range of motion. And so it's just going to tighten everything else up even more. Or I can do some trigger point release like what I'm doing now. And then I'll show you a couple of specific warm-up exercises that I'll do that will switch on the scapular stabilizers and the rotator cuff. And those muscle systems, when they're working properly, the nervous system goes, oh, this is okay. I can allow more range of motion, and it will release muscles. It will not limit range of motion, and you'll be able to, you know, get pain-free movement. And so that's really what this trigger point release is doing. I'm doing my lats now. It's just creating a stimulus, a pain stimulus that is greater than everything else that my body's feeling. And when it gets a greater stimulus, it just releases a lot of tightness because it goes, this is not so bad. That's the best description that I've ever heard from a physiotherapist as to what happens when you do trigger point release. Because if you ask most people will tell you, we're not really sure what happens when you do massage and why it increases range of motion. And that's the best description that I've ever heard. And so now I'm just moving, and I really just, you know, I hit the pecs first, okay, and then I hit the lats a little bit, and then I hit the muscles in my upper back here, so the rhomboids and the traps, and sometimes I even do like the levator scap in my upper trap as well. I might do that today, we'll see. And you just look for a couple of really sore spots. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm just moving around, and that's a good one. That was a big one. And you're just finding the sore spots. And, you know, when you get a sore spot, put as much body weight as you can into it and hold it for up to 10 seconds. You can even move your arm a little bit around through internal and external rotation while you're doing these releases. So believe it or not, even though the ball's down here, I'm actually still doing my lats. Because the lat inserts down on the bottom of the thoracic vertebra and right down to the pelvis. It covers a massive area. And tight lats are responsible for a lot of shoulder pain and shoulder impingement. So, really takes your breath away when you get a good one. So that already feels better. My shoulder's already feeling better just from that. And now I'll move into some more warm-up. So this is strengthening those scapular stabilizers. And when I say strengthening, I should be clear, this isn't like I'm doing sets and reps with the intention to hypertrophy my muscles, what I'm doing is I'm switching on these muscles. I'm basically sending a signal that it's time to use these muscles, time to switch on. And before a workout, it's exactly what you need. You need to send a message to the scapular stabilizers and the rotator cuff that it is time to do some work. One of the reasons why stretching before a workout is a really bad idea, because stretching sends a very different signal than what I'm doing here. Stretching is sending a signal that it's time to relax the muscles, and it ain't time to relax if I'm about to go and do dips and pull-ups. Okay, now some body blade work for the rotator cuff. This is a really interesting way to train the rotator cuff, because it it causes the head of the humerus to bounce in and out of the socket, which makes the rotator cuff work in a very different way. And last but not least, a band pull apart. And you can turn your hands into a supinated grip as well, which affects the way that the shoulder sits. Externally rotates the shoulder more, so it gives you a little bit of a different way of hitting the same muscles. All right, warm-up set for my dips. I'm not going to go as low as I did in my last workout, because I just aggravated my shoulder a little bit. So I'll do a reduced range of motion, and I'll build up my range over the coming weeks. It's not good to work with pain when you've had a shoulder injury. And I'll do my pull-ups, and I'm using these Swissies so that I do a neutral grip, because I'm dealing with the last stages of golfer's elbow. And a neutral grip is a really good way to work around golfer's elbow. And these are really cool, these things. I'm really impressed with them. All right, team. Here we go, round one. That felt good. I was feeling it in my chest, and it wasn't hurting my shoulder. So I think I'll stick with that range of motion for this workout, and maybe increase the range in another 1 or 2 workouts. So what I did there is what's called a rest pause method. So I couldn't get 7 good reps. So I paused after the 6th rep, waited, I don't know, about 10 seconds. It's just enough for the creatine phosphate energy pathway to recover a little bit. It takes a very short amount of time for that energy pathway to recover. And then bang, 1 more good rep. So instead of, doing a 7th really bad rep, that it would have been bad, I still got 7 good reps in, but I only record 6 in my app, because if I record 7, you see, I don't know if you can see there, I've recorded 7 for the first couple of sets and then only 6 for that set. Because if I record 7, it's not an accurate recollection of what happened. And so then when I look at my next workout and I think, oh, I got 7 reps for every set for all 5 sets, I'll try 8 reps. That's not accurate. I didn't get 7 for all 5 sets. And so to use progressive overload accurately, you only record the reps that you get. And if you use a rest pause method like that, that's not 7 reps unbroken, So it's just a way to force progression safely, because there are times when you do need to force yourself to get more volume in, to break through strength plateaus. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And on the 5th set, I might even do 2 or 3 rest pauses. So I try and get like 8 or 9 reps with rest pausing. I was going to do 8 reps, but I think I'll save that for the 4th and 5th set. Oh, that was the 4th set. Well, for the 5th set. No, it wasn't. It was the 3rd set. So yeah, I might try 8 reps on the 4th and 5th set, because I feel like I could do an 8th. But I think if I do it now, it's going to cook me too much for the last couple of sets, and then I wouldn't be able to do even 7, and that's not good. It's much better to get 7 reps for all 5 sets than it is to do 8 for 1 set earlier on, and then by the last set you're barely doing 5 or 6 reps. You don't get as much volume, and the quality isn't as good. So because I'm sitting on this point where like I don't know if I'll get 8 for many reps, for many sets today. I'll just do 7, maybe 8 in the 4th, maybe 8 in the 5th. I might only try for an 8th rep in the 5th set as well. I'll just see how I feel in the 4th set. Progressive overload is a really specific thing that you want to be very specific with progressive overload. You need to make sure that all of the reps in your sets for calisthenics are the same amount for all 5 sets with good quality before you go up a rep. If you're doing higher reps in the first couple of sets and lower reps in the last sets, you're not ready to go up in reps. And this is where I went wrong in my early stages. And then the same with weights. People ask, when do I go up in weight? Well, if you're aiming for 5 sets of 8 reps, if you can do all 5 sets with 8 reps with good quality, then you can go up in weight on the next workout. And if you struggle, like if the amount of reps you can do with good quality tapers off in the last couple of sets, and you stay on that same weight, same reps in the first set, but you try and push the reps up in the last sets until all 5 sets are the same weight, same reps again. And then you go up in weight again. That's how you use progressive overload. Try for 6. So I barely got 6 then. So I'll stop, rest for 10 to 15 seconds, and I'll do one more. I'll try one more. Actually, I won't. I'll do one more in the last set. Because if I do, I'll just start my timer. I keep a very strict rest time as well. Like you can't use progressive overload accurately unless your rest time is consistent with each set in each workout as well. Because if you blow out the rest time from one workout to the next, it's not the same training parameters and you'll produce a different result. So all of your training parameters, your rest time, your tempo, your range of motion, the weight you lift, the reps you do, it all needs to be the same, and then you manipulate that the way that I've just described before for progressive overload. So if I had have gone for an 8th rep there, I would have got it, but I doubt I would have even got 6 reps in the final set. I mean, I'm going to struggle to get 6 reps in the last set as is, you know. I'm pretty cooked now, and I'm focusing on that tempo on the way down for the dips, because I really want that time under tension for my pecs. I want to get growth in my pecs, and a slow eccentric phase is beneficial for muscle growth, causes more damage to the muscle fibers, which is the stimulus for hypertrophy. Whereas for the pull-ups, I'm not doing an eccentric contraction, because the eccentric contraction, that damage to the muscle fibers, is actually really bad for golfer's elbow. It's the thing you want to avoid. So because I'm dealing with a minor case of golfer's elbow, a way that I can reduce the severity of the symptoms is, number 1, go to a neutral grip. So I use less of the wrist flexor muscles, wrist flexor tendons. And number 2 is don't use a slow eccentric. So I reduce the amount of damage to the muscle fibers. Only got 5 reps. And you could see that I just couldn't get a good lockout with the depression at the end of that rep. So going for a 6 rep wouldn't have been honest, because I didn't get a good 5th rep. The 6th rep would have been shit. So here we go for 6. And let's really max out the volume here. I want to get at least 7 reps, hopefully 8 in total. Seven. Do one more. Woo! Some good volume there. Go. Oh man. Woo, I'm cooked. I'm going to try laying down with my head in this corner for my skull crushers and see if it gives enough clearance for the weight plates. Might not, but we'll see. Come on, stupid rope. Oh, perfect. It's a bit heavy on that first set. I'm really looking for 6 to 8 reps and I only just got 5, so drop the weight a bit. Got to get your head in the right spot, of course. All right, last set. I've dropped back to 20 kilos now. All right, here we go. Last set. Oh man, I've been doing these really high volume workouts for so long that a lot less volume in this workout, and it feels so much easier getting to this end part of the workout with this reduced volume. It's nice. This one's really hard for me on my right side, which is the side that got the worst injury. And I really have to think about what I'm doing to stop my elbow from dropping. Oh man, cooked. Okay, now I'm doing some supraspinatus work because I recently tore my supraspinatus and it is weak on my right side. So the supraspinatus is most active in the first 30 degrees of abduction with the shoulder, It's also an external rotator though, so it is can be trained with external rotation and also isometric contractions, but this movement has long been used by physiotherapists to rehabilitate a supraspinatus tear, so I'm still going to include it. Okay, we always do the other side. So this is the non-injured side, but I still do it for structural balance. You always do the injured side first, because the injured side should dictate the load, the intensity and the volume, and then you match intensity and volume on the non-injured side, and it feels like you're not really doing much on the non-injured side, but that's how you work out imbalances. If you train the non-injured side first and you train it to its strength, and then when you do the injured side you can't match the same load, then imbalances will grow and increase, and that's really bad. You don't want muscle imbalances. All right, last one. Hey guys, if you've made it this far, please like the video, smash that like button. Tell me if it lit up like a rainbow when I said that. And subscribe to my channel. Help us get to 100,000 subscribers. That's our goal this year. And be part of the journey. Hit the subscribe button, help us get there. I'm hungry for that silver play button to hang on my wall. We've been doing this on YouTube now for 10 years. Can you believe it? We've only been serious about it for a couple of years, but we started our YouTube channel 10 years ago. If you go back and look at our first videos, those are 10 years old now. And I've completely lost count of how many reps I did.